Alright guys, welcome to your 12th Photoshop tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use the rectangular marquee tool. Pretty freaking sweet. Now we're going to be working with the image of the puppy that I got today actually, my new best friend in the whole world, old Dan. How freaking cute is he? 8 weeks old, and actually I'm going to be talking a little bit kind of quiet during this tutorial because old Dan is sleeping right behind me, like 3 feet literally, and I really don't want to wake him up because this is the first time he's been sleeping all day. But anyways, I'm going to be a little quiet and try to do this tutorial. So in order to get the rectangle marquee tool, we need to go ahead and use this tool, and once you see the options, you're going to see rectangular marquee tool. Now this is one of the tools that allows you to make a selection or select a portion of your image. Now why the heck would you want to select a portion of your image? Well, let's say that we wanted to cut the bottom half of this image out, so instead of his feet, it would say maybe we want to add some text in there. Or maybe we just want to cut out this rope and put in, I don't know, like a hot dog so it looks like he's eating a hot dog. I don't freaking know. The important thing is you can do many things, but let's just focus on making that selection for this tutorial. So once you have your tool selected, in order to make a normal selection, just go ahead and drag with your cursor, and once you release, you can see that the selection is made, and it's going to have these little, I call them marching ants, around a little dotted line. Now, like I said, with a selection, what you can do is a bunch of different things. You can cut that, paste it another location, but for now, like I said, we won't get into what you can do with the selection. I only want to show you guys how to use this tool. Now you may be thinking, okay, that tool is easy enough to use. However, there are a bunch of sub options that you can, or options, sub options, options, tomato, tomato, that you can use with this tool. The first one is this little doohickey right here. This is add to selection. Now whenever you have this option chosen, what you can do is you can make another selection and it adds that to the current selection. So as you can see, we have a selection over old Dan's eye. If we want to get his nose in this as well, make a new selection, and as you can see, whenever I release that, we now have one huge entire selection, his eye and his nose. And you can do this as many times as you want. If you want to get his other eye in there too, select that. Check it out. One frickin' huge selection. Now, of course, since we have add, this next one is subtract. So maybe we want to say, you know what, I just want his eyes in there. So let's go ahead and subtract the nose, and it takes this portion out from the current selection. Now, this last one is the only one that can get kind of confusing. What this intersect with selection does is it's going to allow you to make a new selection. Then what it's going to do is it's going to see where it overlaps this selection and creates a selection based on that. Weird? Let me go ahead and show you. So you see that we have two of his eyes and the little spot above his nose selected right now. Well, I'm going to go ahead and make a new selection that selects all of this area. Now take a note that the only place that these two selections overlap is his eye, his right eye. So I'm going to go ahead and release and check it out. Wherever the two selections overlapped is where I'm going to get that current selection. That boom, boom. Oh, sorry. That's why it's called intersect selection tool, basically where they overlap. Now, a lot of people ask, you know what, how do I get rid of a selection if I say, okay, oh crap, I pressed the wrong thing. Let me just go ahead and get rid of that. Crap. How the heck do I get rid of it altogether? Well, in order to get rid of your entire selection, hold down Control on your keyboard and press Z. This pretty much allows you to start from new, and you know what, actually I shouldn't have made all those selections, but but well, let me say this. Whenever you make a selection for the first time and you hit Control Z, it's gonna do undo, and that's the shortcut for undo. But the shortcut for deselection, I guess it's called, is Control D. So let me go ahead and demonstrate that one more time. Control Z is undo, and that may do it if it's your first selection, but Control D is deselection. So I guess I probably should have said that first and foremost. But now, hey, you guys know the shortcut for undo as well. So the other two things that I wanted to talk to you guys about is fixed ratio and fixed size selection. So with this selection tool, right now we are in normal. That means we can make rectangle selections, this shape, perfect square if we want. Now, aside from just making, a free, total freedom over your selection, you can give it a certain rules to follow. So for style, if we put fixed ratio, of course, a 1-to-1 rectangle is a square. So if you do that, you can't make anything but a square. Go ahead and try. I dare you to. Now, if you do fixed size, what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to input a certain pixel amount. Now, 64 is kind of a small square. So what you can do is, obviously, since you have a fixed size, you don't need to drag because it already knows how big it's going to be. All you need to do is, with this selected, hover over a portion of your image and click. Now, obviously, as you can see, what it does is it makes that selection and it uses your cursor as the upper left hand side or left hand point of that rectangle. So one more time, just go ahead and click, and as you can see, it makes a selection on the image that's 64 by 64, and it uses your cursor as the upper left hand side. Now, that is basically how you make a selection using the rectangular marquee tool. I know. Oh, what the heck just flew into my throat? That was disgusting. But yeah, there's not much to it once you know all the different tools. Probably 90% of the time, you're just going to go with normal and normal, or whatever this one's called. New selection, normal. That gives you the most freedom. And you guys are going to learn some keyboard shortcuts in upcoming tutorials. But for now, thank you guys for watching.